contacts out.
Oh.
So I am...
I'll read the chat to you if we have any. Hi guys, we're checking in. I'm freezing.
We just got out the pool. Hot shower. Beautiful way to end the day.
It's been a wonderful day. First of all, really quick background story on our day. I'll let you tell that part, but I'll let you start from the top. Just take it from the top, from Phoenix.
From where we started our day?
Yeah.
All right, well...
Hi, guys.
We stayed in downtown Denver last night. So when we got up this morning, I woke up to a text from the founder and CEO of the Phoenix. Now, the Phoenix is an organization that I've been really interested in for a number of years. I heard about them. I'm not sure if I saw, it was they were featured on the news or article. The names come up a couple of times, and what they are is they're a nonprofit organization that runs a number of gyms, CrossFit type gyms, and they are free and geared towards anyone who is in recovery, who has been clean for at least 48 hours. I love the concept. For me, with my passion being fitness, all things health and wellness related, making sure that people who have different, struggles with addiction, people who are transitioning out of prison, that they have a constructive outlet for those energies. I know for me, it would have been really helpful to have that when I got out of prison the last time. So one of the things that's been at the top of my agenda has been to connect with the people from the Phoenix. And I just so happened to have a conversation with John the other day, and he offered to make that connection. So while we were in Denver, it was a priority to stop down at the headquarters of the Phoenix, which is what we did this morning. And I gotta say, the place absolutely blew me away. It was phenomenal. Scott Strom, the founder, CEO, was incredibly gracious. Gave us the full tour, showed us the facility, talked with us. How long were we there? Like
at least a half an hour, maybe more. An hour?
I was gonna say it was probably closer to an hour, and gave us not only the history of the organization, but kind of the plan going forward. And for me, it was really an opportunity to kind of think about, we're always looking for businesses and organizations that we can get behind and support, and this is one of those that I feel very strongly about. So in having a lengthy conversation with him, kind of got the wheels spinning and figuring out what we're going to do going forward, how we can contribute, how we can support the organization. And since they are coming to Vegas, they are looking to open up a gym there in Vegas. So right now they're trying to staff that. And you guys know, we've been inviting everybody, come to Vegas. So we're looking for people to help get that place online as soon as possible. So that's an open call to all you guys, anybody that's interested in, getting into a career in fitness. You have a loved one that's interested in doing it. And especially those who are in recovery themselves, because we're looking for people with that kind of background, with those experiences. So that's how our day started, downtown Denver, which is an absolutely beautiful city.
Gorgeous.
We had a great time. I mean, it was just a sunny day, picture perfect. When we left the Phoenix, we headed back to the hotel, packed everything up.
It was walking distance, by the way. We walked to the Phoenix and back.
Yeah, like 6 blocks.
Yeah.
Speed walking. I don't know how she kept up with me. Like, her legs are about half the size of mine. And I felt bad. Like, I kept asking. I was like, are you sure? Am I walking too fast? Because I have the tendency to walk very, very fast. And no, she was right there with me every step of the way.
I practiced where I grew up. We're all on the go, quick fast walkers.
Could see that. So we got back to the hotel, packed up, somehow managed to get everything down and to the car in just one trip. Everything's a game for us.
Oh,
That's
what.
what it was.
Yes, good memory. Oh, it makes me so happy.
Everything is a game, right? Like, taking the least amount of trips. Like, how much can you carry down to the car or up to the room in one trip? So we load ourselves up, just because we do that.
The reason why we're like, yes, high five, we remembered, because in the car, I was like, okay, so we've been doing this for days. Like, okay, do you want to get off at this rest stop, or should we wait until the next one because my GPS will tell you when the next gas station, the next, whatever, pull off is, and it'll separate it by miles.
10,
so I'm like,
20,
yeah.
30
So I'm like,
miles.
what do you think? Like, do you want to hold off? Do you want to wait until the next 10 miles? Do you want to wait until the clock hits 3 o'clock? And we make a game out of it. And so today I was like, all right, here's a huge sign. We're in the middle of Colorado, which has been the most gorgeous, breathtaking drive. Adam has over 600 pictures on his phone because I was driving. I couldn't take any pictures. And by the way, side note,
I was just going to say, even before we took off and hit the road, breakfast.
we're going to get there because I want to save that for last.
Really?
Yes, because of something that you said there that's in the title of this video. But we started our Instagram account last night away from Strong Prison Wives and Families. Strong Prison Wives and Families is thriving. It's not going anywhere. I know some people are confused. They thought I was shutting it down because Adam's home. No, it's only beginning. He's here to use his experience to help people who have loved ones on the inside, and I'm still using my experience. In fact, that was something that came up at the Phoenix today because I want our members to somehow be able to benefit from that as well, because we need to stay healthy too. Anyway, so we started a separate Instagram account just for our stuff because I don't want to clog Strong Prison Wives and Families with things like our road trip or our breakfasts or our fitness stuff. So that's Ro and Adam Clausen, same name as this channel on Instagram, because a lot of you guys were asking. So go follow us there. Again, Adam took 600 pictures today while we were driving. But so this one rest stop comes up and it says this is the last rest stop for the last faculties for what was it, 70 something miles?
Something like that.
Something like that.
It was long. Yeah.
And I was like, do you want to stop and use the bathroom now, or should we wait? And he's like, let's wait, just step on it. So 60 of the 72 miles and I'm like, I really gotta pee. He's like, me too. Us in these damn games we have to play.
These are the games that we play.
And then he said, he goes, we have to talk about that on YouTube tonight. And we both forgot. And we were both like, there's one other thing, because I was texting Adam's phone, so we didn't forget our ideas for the videos tonight. And I'm like, what was that other thing? So that's why we were like, high five, you remember. That's what it was. Okay. Rewinding back to breakfast. Talk about breakfast, and then I want you to talk about the title of this video I wrote, Not All Prison Quirks Are Bad. Remember what we talked about at breakfast?
Really?
And you said that it's not a bad thing?
Sure.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. Tell the story.
You want me to tell the whole story, what happened at breakfast?
Yeah, you can even start last night at dinner.
Okay.
Tell all of it.
Well, I guess I first mentioned it this morning at breakfast, but it was something that I noticed last night. Being in prison, there's just, I'm a little bit more perceptive, I would say, to people, to things that are happening. And although Denver is a beautiful city, there's a lot of homeless people. Reality is, unfortunately, people end up often on the streets because they're suffering from mental illness, from other situations. And that's just kind of in the back of my head. So I'm cautious. That's something that carries over from prison. I just look at the world a little differently. Not in a paranoid way, like everybody's, out to get you or to do something bad. But when I see people move a certain way that's unusual, immediately I look to their hands. I just pick up on different things. So last night, one of the things that I had told her was to switch pockets and to what was inside between us, as opposed to keeping something on the outside of her.
It was my phone.
Yeah, it was telling her to switch her phone to the inside. And today, when we were on the street this morning, I happened to notice a guy that clearly he was having some issues. And the way he was moving kind of struck me, and when I looked to his hand, I saw something green, fluorescent. It looked like a box cutter. So immediately, it's not that I just have a heightened sense of awareness to those things, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. That's what I was saying. That was our discussion at breakfast. Like it didn't trigger anything in me, but I was also conscious of looking around at the people who were there, because there was plenty of other people who were sitting around, say, eating breakfast or just walking on the street, that didn't pay this guy any attention. Mm-hmm. But I've had personal experiences in prison with guys that have certain psychological issues. And after having it, that'll never happen again. So I stay attuned to it, and I pointed this out to her, and she was just like, wow. She was like, I didn't notice that. And I just, these are the conversations that we have. As I see and experience these things, we're just open to talking about them. And none of that distracted from the fact that we had one of the best breakfasts yet, like out. Aside from her cooking, when she makes, eggs, omelets, unbelievable. This morning's breakfast at this little cafe just on the street about a block away from our hotel, both of us we basically got the same thing.
We did get the same thing, yeah. It was delicious. The pictures are on Instagram because we are those people that take pictures of our food.
And the pictures came out beautiful.
Yeah, those did come out really good.
I'm hungry right now just thinking about it. And I'm not even kidding.
Somebody said you look like John Cena today in a super chat.
John Cena, really?
I would never think John Cena. Oh. We also got another super chat while you were talking, yep. And it was so sweet. She said, "Thank you for the support." I think it was a woman. I missed the name, but they're in criminology and are hoping to eventually move into prisons, and we inspire.
Cool.
I want to add something.
Yes.
Were you done about breakfast?
Sure.
So, when Adam was talking about where he sees things on the street that are different, and he was like, just move your phone in, none of it is jumpy or paranoia like we were talking about, the PTSD after prison. It's not, you don't come across like that at all, and I just want to be really clear about that. That's why it's not a bad thing. And even if you're coming out of prison and you have PTSD, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not coming across in a way where it's some sort of prison quirk that he needs to work through. I think it's just more where your eyes are open to things that the average person's eyes aren't, where it's things that aren't, it's a good thing because it's things that I've roamed the streets of New York City, and I was walking around Denver today, it was nothing. I don't see things like that. I am as aware as I could possibly be as a woman if I am alone in a city, or with my significant other walking through a city, but I don't see things that way. So it's not necessarily a bad thing or a leftover prison quirk that you need to work through. Even we were sitting outside the front of the restaurant, and I went and sat down first. So my body was facing the street, and Adam's back was facing the street, and all the people were walking behind him. And maybe 2 minutes in, I was like, is that driving you nuts? Do you want to switch? And you said no.
No. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But I'm also very intentional about it. And that's the important thing here. To acknowledge these things and to be able to speak openly about them so that they don't become an issue. Because what happens is if you spend too much time inside your own head and you don't have anybody to share these things with, sometimes it can get to you. It can get the best of you. So
well, and you've come a really long way, and I could say this. I've told this story a few times on my channel, but we do have a lot of new people, so I'll tell it kind of quick. And I don't know if you remember this, and if you do, I'd love for you to speak to it. But I remember when you had first moved to McKean, we were out in the visit room. Do you remember this story? And so the room was set up where you walk in, and there's the cop's desk. If you're facing into the visit room, the cop's desk would be on your right. And they had all of the chairs at the time were set up like church pews. So they were all facing one way, and then there was a middle aisle. And then these were all facing this way, all facing in towards the center of the room. And we were in the very back corner of the room. And then against the back wall were the vending machines. And between our chair, maybe a foot between us and the wall, a foot away from us, was this big pillar. And people had to walk by us to get to the vending machines because we were, again, the very, very last row. So instead of walking around that pole, they were walking through the pole. And Adam was sitting in the last chair, and I was one in from him. And you looked at me because people were going through, and you were like so intense in your face, and you're like, it's driving me crazy. And I'm like, what's driving you crazy? And you were saying how the people were cutting through the chair and they were right behind you.
They were too close.
Yeah. And I remember I said to you, I'm like, well, let's just switch seats. And you were like, no. And I said, why? And this was maybe like 10 years ago when you first moved to McKean. And I said, why? And you're like, because I'm going to have to learn how to get used to this. Now, he had no outdate. He had nothing in the works at that moment that would even potentially bring you home. Yeah. And so back then, they used to call bathroom breaks. So the inmates couldn't get up and go to the bathroom whenever they wanted. They had to wait for them to call. Like every 2 hours, they would say bathroom break. Nice, and then they would all line up. Yeah. So you'd have to be like hold it all day, which is, we'll tell that story another time. So he went to the bathroom, and a lot of times I would go to the bathroom at the same time, so this way we weren't wasting time apart. And when I came back from the bathroom, he was still back in the inmate's bathroom, and I sat down in the chair that he was sitting in. And I remember in my head, I was thinking, I mean, does he need to be this uncomfortable? He's got plenty of time to get over this. I don't want him to feel like that or not enjoy our visit or feel jumpy all day, because that's no fun either. And when you came back, you were like, oh, you switched seats? And I was like, yeah. It's like, you don't worry about that. But do you remember that situation?
Sure.
You want to talk about it?
I mean, I've been pretty open about that. I said when I moved from the USP to a medium, I realized that there were some things that I needed to deal with. To be honest, one of the things that opened my eyes the most was I had an aunt and uncle who came to visit me, and afterwards, my mom and I talked about it, and I guess I kind of freaked them out a little bit, because it was right when I first got there, and it was just way too much stimulus out there. You know, there's people all over the place, and I was just like operating at a very different level. And it was the same thing, like I couldn't be in that close proximity of people, you know?
Did it freak you out too, or it just freaked him out? And
It freaked me out, and in turn, that energy that I was giving off, like, obviously freaked them out.
But
And that was the lesson. Like, within that, like, knowing that I did that, I'm like, man, what is wrong with me?
That's my question. So, like, yes, you freaked out in the moment, but then did it almost freak you out that you freaked out? That's a lot of freaking out.
Yeah, it bothered me.
Yeah,
no,
got
it bothered me that I passed that on to them. And I said, listen, I can't have this.
Even in the moment, young in the penitentiary?
In the penitentiary?
It was in the, oh no, it wasn't. It was in the,
no, that was,
yeah.
That was at the medium. And that was, I understood that I needed to not, I made the physical transition, I need to make the mental transition as well.
Got it.
And it took me, I mean, I spent 10 years focusing on how to improve my social skills. I mean, that was a lot of work. I'm grateful. I'm grateful I had the opportunity to do that. There are guys that leave after 20, 30 years just in that high security setting. And man, I can't imagine that.
Mm-mm.
It's incredible. So let's get off that topic and move on to our incredible day that we had.
Yeah.
And our trip through the Rockies and the literally 600 pictures. My phone has 630 some pictures on there. And
it's 2 weeks old.
Yeah, like before today, there was probably 25, 30 pictures. So I think I went a little crazy today. I went crazy with the new iPhone camera. I snapped pictures of everything. And I think a couple of them actually came out pretty good.
More than a couple of 600 came out.
There's a few good ones in there.
Beautiful.
I mean, law of averages. I had to get a few, right? So took some really cool pictures. Just fascinated by all of it. You know, when I was a kid, I was fortunate to be able to do some traveling. Traveled around a lot with my dad, and got to see some of the West out here. And I remember it, but you know, as a kid, you don't appreciate that kind of thing. So today, as we're driving through the mountains, and you're in between that, like you're just surrounded by rock. You know what I mean? Looking up, I got some pretty cool pictures, of us in the car, of when we stopped. And, we stopped in Vail, Colorado, Breckenridge, Colorado. Steamboat is right there. It was a very cool day all the way, traveling here to Moab, with the idea of going to Arches National Park, which is a really, really cool place. And we got a recommendation on going to, what is it? Power Dam.
Yeah.
Power Dam, where there is waterfalls and cliff diving.
If anybody wants to go with Adam, that would be excellent. So I don't have to jump off of a cliff into the water because I can't swim very well.
You're going to see it. I'm going to get it on video tomorrow.
How am I going to do that if I can't even swim really?
You're going off, what's it called? Little...
Teacup or something?
Teacup.
There's still a body of water underneath me.
She's going off Teacup. And I'm going to go off, what's the other one? The big... Whatever the other one is. Big Dipper, Teacup.
You're going off of both.
Well, although everybody knows about her aversion to water, right? And we've been working on this. Even before I came home, she was spending time in the pool, practicing, getting ready for this, getting her swim technique right. And I got to see a little bit of that tonight. When we came back from dinner, we had, same thing, just like breakfast. We had an amazing dinner at this place. Sunset Grill. Kind of hard to get to. I don't know how they built this place, but they built it up on the cliff. It's a single lane that goes up the side of this mountain.
It's at the top, the tippy top.
Crazy. We were sitting on a bench while we were waiting to be called. Literally 3-4 feet from a 500-foot drop. So we got some really cool pictures. We got in there to eat, and that was one of the best meals we've had.
It was delicious. It was one of those look downs where if you think about it for too long, you get nauseous, but it was really pretty.
Yeah. So great dinner. We were able to make it back here to the hotel, hop in the pool, had the pool all to ourselves. Only for about 20 minutes, but man, it was cool. In the pool, looking up at the stars.
Oh, and the full moon.
I mean, it was unbelievable.
213 people on.
There's what?
213 people on.
All right. Well, it's late.
It's your number.
213. Nice. Well, it's late too.
It's late.
As we move west, we're gradually transitioning.
I'm trying not to transition though, because it dawns on me as I was driving today that I have to be at work every morning at 6:00 in Vegas because that's 9:00 Eastern.
Yeah, she's still going to be functioning on East Coast time, but we're going to be on the West Coast. We're going to be on Pacific time. So, but just think about how early you get done every day.
Right. I just can't let my body adjust to West Coast time. I'm just going to have to stay on East Coast time forever. I'm going to have to.
All right.
Today, I have to say, you guys, today of all the driving days, today was my absolute favorite. It was gorgeous to drive through the mountains. I have to admit, when I first started going through the Rockies, right after Denver, I was nervous. I was a little bit scared that I was going to drive us off the side of a cliff. I had to get used to the speed and the winding and up and down. And what the highest we were was, what'd you say, 11,000 feet or something?
I think we hit a little over 11,000 feet today.
Yeah, because my GPS tells you how many feet above sea level you are. So it was fun. It was beautiful.
It was very cool.
Intimidating to drive through in the beginning.
Yeah. It was very cool.
Yeah.
Fun day.
Did I scare you?
A little bit. I mean, all of a sudden you lost the jurors. All that aggressive driving.
I got scared.
Right out the window.
Yeah.
Brake. I'm like, what? We're in the slow lane. We're never in the slow lane. Never. Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Well, when you see yourself falling off a mountain.
I just stayed quiet. I figured, you'd figure it out, and you did.
Yeah.
You got comfortable as the day went on.
Yeah.
So
As things flattened out.
yeah. Well, tomorrow we got another day of. We're gonna put some miles on after we do a little hiking, little swimming.
We're gonna try to hit the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, see if we can hit the other side of the Grand Canyon. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We got a little bit of a wiggle room in our itinerary here and our schedule and getting to Vegas. You know, we're trying not to kill ourselves getting there, but really just take some time and enjoy this trip. And it's been incredible, you know, and it's really about the people. We have met so many good people along the way. Got to spend time with family. Just, it's been an incredible experience. You know, 20 years in the making. A lot of things that I've dreamed about that, you know, we've gotten to do. And in such a short period of time. Today is actually 3 weeks. Right?
Yep.
I've been out 3 weeks today. Hard to believe.
Hard to believe. So, I'm gonna put you on the spot. What was your number one favorite in the last 3 weeks? What was your number one favorite thing, activity, thing that you did?
Number one favorite activity in 3 weeks?
Or things that you've seen? Yeah, what was your top
Oh, man.
memory in the past 3 weeks?
I can't pick one. They're all...
Can you pick top three?
No, like every other day is a favorite. You know what I mean? But I mean, because there's so many firsts. You don't do anything, you know, outside of prison for 20 years. So the first time jumping in the pool, that was phenomenal. But tonight, jumping in the pool, like after
Yeah.
coming back from dinner, you and I, that was, yeah, I don't know. There's too many. Too many, and I don't want to rank them because they've all been absolutely amazing.
Good
So.
answer. Very diplomatic.
It's the truth. So, I'm sure everybody else has got to get to bed as well. We got to get some sleep. We got a
Yeah.
fun-filled day planned for tomorrow.
We do. Oh my God, Poochie's here. That's what I was pointing out before.
Poochie's here.
Poochie's here.
Get your daughter to sleep.
Ah.
All right.
Somebody said this, and it's true. They said we've packed so many experiences in 3 weeks. We just said the same thing at dinner.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah. All right, you guys, we will be back tomorrow. Somebody asked if this is going to be our normal, regular time. No, it's
No.
way too late. But we were just fitting it in when we can. Today was a long driving day because we left Denver later than we had wanted to, but it worked itself out.
Yeah. No, it's, you know, once we hit Vegas, you know, our daily routine's going to change a little bit. We will get more of a daily routine. And, yeah, we won't be on the road anymore, though it'll be a little bit more consistent. And, we've definitely got some surprises for you once we hit Vegas.
Poochie said she's asleep already.
All right. Well,
We're about to be there
we're
too.
about to be asleep too.
All right. We love you guys.
Love
See
you
you tomorrow.
guys.
Thank you again for the super chats.